This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
I want to talk a little bit about the Scottie Pippen story, just to change gears a little bit. We're music, football now. We go to to basketball, and I read this story where Scottie Pippen is beyond livid with Michael Jordan over his Last Dance portrayal. And I got to tell you something. This is another reason why Scottie Pippen doesn't get it. Really, I'm sorry, but he doesn't get it. Look, nobody told Scottie Pippen not to participate in the last play of that game in the playoff series when they called for Kukoc's number and he got pissed like a little bitch and said, I'm not going in. When a real pro who has an understanding and can look in the mirror and say, that's a great call by the coach, man. I'll do my best to help set up Tony. He's better suited for that play than I am. And Phil Jackson's call was the coach's call. We just went through this before. They looked at Eric Rowe and said, you can't cover corner, you can't cover receivers, but you can cover tight ends. We'll keep you in that role. That's a coach's job. What can you do? What can't you do? All right, let me figure it out. Let me put you in a position to succeed, not to fail. That's what they did. They succeeded, and he acted like a little bitch there. Okay? He whined about his money. Moron, you signed the 7-year contract. Nobody else. And then, the migraine thing happened in that second go-around. Let me explain something to you about the migraine. Migraines are brutal. I've had migraines. You want to be locked up in a dark room. You don't want anybody talking to you. You don't want to you don't want to hear noise. You don't want to see a flicker of light. You don't want to see a firefly in a dark room when you've got a migraine. I know what it's like. Okay? But let me explain something to you. When you back out of a play and you also have a migraine in another play, people are automatically going to say, you wussed out. That's the burden he has to carry. Okay? You wanted your money? Dude, sign a 4-year deal, 5-year deal. So that way when it's up, you have a new deal. If you go to 7, what business isn't going to milk you, bro? Radio, acting, record companies. How many times have you heard the story of the record company that the band hits it big on their first or second album, but the record company's got 5 more albums on you at the same price? And you got to play out that record contract, or you got to fight them in court for years.
What is it, TLC? I think one of the worst, right?
All of it, dude.
Yeah, but I'm saying that
the Eagles,
everybody's been used and abused.
Every business. You signed that contract. You made your commitment, bro. Scotty, you're a dumbass. Don't blame Phil Jackson. Don't blame Michael Jordan. Don't blame Jerry Reinsdorf. Don't blame Krause. Okay? Don't blame any of those guys. That's your fault, dude. You chose not to go into that play. That's part of the history. That younger people are finding out about it. Hey, man, that's your problem. You got portrayed the right way. You punked out of that play. And then in the interview, you said you'd do it all over again.
Doubled down.
Your ignorance is amazing, bro. You would figure after 20 years, you would sit down and say, yeah, no, I screwed up there. I failed my team. Bill Cartwright was crying after the game, addressing you, Scotty, how much you failed them. Brother, you were portrayed like what you are. And you know what tops it all with Scottie Pippen that pisses me off about everything else? He is never, ever, ever going to be Scottie Pippen without Michael Jordan. If he ends up getting drafted in any other team, he reaches half of what he was. Doesn't reach the Hall of Fame, maybe never even wins a title, and doesn't become one of the 50 greatest players of all time. The fact he was with Michael is what elevated him to that point. So he should be grateful that he was on that team, grateful that he's a 6-time champion, grateful that he's a top 50 player, and he should be also honest with himself and should have sat in that thing and said, yeah, I was a dumbass. I signed a 7-year contract. I can't blame anybody else but myself. Yeah, I was a dumbass. I chose not to go into that play, and Bill Cartwright was right. I failed him. We would respect that honesty. Yeah, if I had to do it all over, I would not do that again. Because it's not their fault, it's mine. Scottie Pippen has a problem. He can't look in the mirror and actually say the truth. That's why Larsa Pippen is flying around in his plane, having Future come over to her, and she's cheating on Scottie with Future. Scottie, my brother, you are a disaster. You're a hell of a player, but you still don't get it, man. And you're on the jump because of those 6 titles. Not because you have this incredible personality, by the way. You know what I mean? So don't blame anybody but yourself for how you were portrayed, because you were portrayed like what you are. A great player that had a lot of faults. Okay? Clearly had, and you screwed up and you screwed yourself. You sign a 7-year contract with anybody, and I can tell you in 99.9% of the businesses in this country, they're going to milk every day of that contract, and they're not going to give you a new one. Very few people are going to say, oh, you're so good, man. Let me tear up this contract after years 3 and 4 here, and let me pay you 8 times more so I can get less of a team. No, man. That's your fault, dude. Your fault. So every time I see this, I have to laugh at Scottie Pippen. Seriously. I have to laugh that he is pissed off about how he's portrayed. You're portrayed the way you should be portrayed.
I was going to say, he wants to go yell at somebody. Just go find a mirror, bro.
Oh, yell at your damn self.
That's it, man. Go find a mirror.
Yeah, bro. I mean,
because you brought all this on yourself, man. Yeah. That's it. It's you.
He's beyond livid on how he's been portrayed. They portrayed you like what you are, bro.
And you know what? Just the way he doubled down on I would do the same thing again.
Right.
And now the way he's acting with this.
Yep.
It's he's doubling down again. It's like, you don't get it, do you, at all?
No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. That's why he does that.